Greetings to you all and welcome to the study of the subject leadership and management. The topic is project management. Today we will look at project resources. This is what we study under project resource management. And candidate project resource management includes the processes to identify, to acquire, and manage the resources needed for successful completion of a project. And the processes help ensure that the right resources will be available to the project manager and the project team at the right time and at the right place. Okay? There is no project that can be completed without investment in resources. And the resources have to be made available to the project manager, to the project team at the right time and at the right place. Okay? And candidates, there are different types of resources that may be required when carrying out a project. We have physical resources, okay? Physical resources. These are things like equipment, machines, raw materials, facilities, infrastructure, and so on. We also have human resources. Human resources. Human resources, these are just people which comprise the project team. There may be various teams that are assigned to various tasks in order to complete the project. Team resources or personnel. It refers to the human resource. So personnel candidates may have varied skill sets that may be assigned full-time or part-time and may be added or removed from the project team as the project progresses. There may be certain skills that may be required when carrying out a project at a certain stage in the life cycle of a project. So the different personnel may be added to the team, may be subtracted to the team as the project progresses. And the project team consists of individuals with assigned roles and responsibilities who work collectively to achieve a shared project goal. And the project manager should invest suitable effort in acquiring, in managing, in motivating, and empowering the human resource, the people, the team. So the project manager also is part of the personnel or the human resource. And although specific roles and responsibilities for the project team members are assigned, the involvement of all team members in project planning and decision making is beneficial. We are talking about participation of team members during planning. When the team members are included in the planning process, that adds their expertise to the process and strengthens their commitment to the project. Human resource, I've said, comprises of the team members, project team, and also the project manager. The project manager who should both be a leader and a manager of the project team. In addition, the project management activities such as initiating, executing, monitoring, controlling, and closing various project phases, the project manager is responsible for the team formation as an effective group. The project manager is a very important person when it comes to project management. He should be aware, or she should be aware of the different aspects or the influence, different aspects that influence the team, such as team environment, such as geographical locations of team members, such as communication among the stakeholders, including organizational change management, and as well as the internal and external politics. The project manager should also be conversant with the cultural issues and organizational uniqueness, including other factors that may alter project performance. And as a leader, the project manager is also responsible for proactively developing team skills, competencies, while also retaining and improving the team satisfaction and motivation. A manager is one who motivates, inspires the members towards achievement of a certain goal. Therefore, the project manager should be aware of and also subscribe to professional and also ethical behavior, and to ensure that all team members adhere to ethical values. Project manager, that is human resources. And the physical resources or physical resource management, on the other hand, candidates, is concentrated in allocating and using the physical resources like material, equipment, supplies that are needed for successful completion of the project in an efficient and effective way. And in order to do that, organizations should have data on resource demands. All right? Resource demands. You should have data on resource configurations that will be acquired to meet those demands, and also the supply of resources. Okay? And we need to note that failing to manage and control resources efficiently is a source of risk of successful project implementation or completion. So therefore, candidate, what constitutes, or what are the processes of project of resource management? The project resource management processes. Resource management, the project resource management process. Resource management processes. Resource management processes. The project resource management processes. Project resource management processes, candidates, include: 1, plan resource management. 2, it includes estimate activity resource, estimating activity resource. Number 3, acquire resources. 4, developing team. These are now human resources. Number 5, manage the team. Then with 6, we can have control of resources. These are the 6 project resource management processes. Let's define these processes. Plan resource management. Now, plan resource management, candidates, is the process of defining how to estimate, to acquire, to manage, and utilize physical and human resources. It does what? It's a process of defining how to estimate. The process of defining, number 1, how to estimate, how to acquire, how to manage, how to utilize, and how to utilize the physical resources and human resources. And the key benefit of this process, candidates, is that it establishes the approach and the level of management effort that is needed for managing project resources based on the type and complexity of the project. The process is performed once or at predefined points in the project, because we know a project has a life cycle. So plan resource management can be done at the initial stage or at any defined stage in the project life cycle. Plan resource management. And candidates, project resources, as I said earlier, may include the team members, supplies, materials, equipment, services, facilities, and so on. So effective resource planning should consider and plan for the availability of these resources, because we know resources are generally scarce. So before a project is undertaken, there has to be a plan on resource management. Where will the resources be obtained from? What is the availability of these physical resources? How will be the availability of human resources? So effective planning should consider and plan for the availability of the scarce resources. And the resources we know can be obtained from the internal assets or can be obtained from outside the organization through a procurement process. And we know, again, candidates, that other projects may also be competing for the same resources required for the project at the time and location. If a company undertakes a project, the project may require the input of the company accountant, for example, to help in costing and preparation and maintenance of records. So the accountant may help in the preparation of cost records of the project, but you see that accountant still has work to do internally. So he's saying these resources there can be competition. It's not just an accountant, but even machinery, including computers and and equipment. Equipment that is used internally may be required to be used in executing a project. So the resources can be obtained internally, or the resources can be procured using a procurement process. And I've said that there could be competition of resources from the company and also required to execute the project. And that can significantly impact project costs, whether the materials are, the resources are acquired internally or they are acquired through a procurement process. Okay? It may impact on project costs, that can impact on schedules, can impact on risks, it can as well impact on quality and other project areas. So the resource management plan, the resource management plan is the component of project management plan that provides guidance on how project resources should be categorized, how they should be allocated, how they should be managed, and how they should be also utilized and realized. So it may be also be divided between the team management plan, and also it can also be part of the physical resource management plan according to the specifics of the project. So project plan resource management is a very, very critical part of project management. And remember, candidates, you are discussing project resources. Project resources. So there is the second bit, the second process of a project resource management, which is estimating activity resource. Now, this process, candidate, is the process of estimating team resources and the other type of quantities of material, equipment, supplies that are necessary to perform a project work. And the key benefit of this process is that it identifies the type, it identifies the quantity, and also the characteristics of resources required to complete the project. And the activity is performed, may be performed periodically or periodically throughout the project as needed, okay? It may be performed periodically throughout the project. So the estimate activity resource is process is closely coordinated with other processes such as the estimate cost process. For example, a construction project team will need to be familiar with local building codes, and such knowledge is often readily available from local sellers. So if the internal labor pool lacks experience with the unusual or the specialized construction techniques, the additional cost for a consultant may be the most effective way to secure knowledge of the local building codes. So resource requisitions identify the type and the quantities of resources that are required for each work package or activity in a work package, and can be aggregated to determine the estimated resources for each work package and the project as a whole. So the amount of detail and the level of specificity, okay, I'm saying the amount of detail and the level of the specificity, the level of specificity can be included and made available in the quantities that are needed. We are talking about specifications, the amount of detail and the specifications of the resource requirements descriptions can vary by application area, and therefore the resource requirements documentation can include assumptions that were made in determining which types of resources are applied, their availability, and what quantities are needed. So estimating activity resource is a second resource management process. And I've said it is a process of estimating the team resources, is a process of estimating the type and quantities of materials, equipment, and supplies that are necessary to perform project work. And what is the importance of estimating activity resource? The key benefit of this process, I've said, is that it identifies the type, it identifies the quantity, and also the characteristics of resources that are required to complete a project. And the process can be periodically carried out as the project progresses as needed. So, estimate activity resource. Number 3 is acquiring resources. Now, candidates, after estimating the resources in a second process, then the third process is acquiring resources, which is a process of obtaining team members, is a process of obtaining facilities, obtaining equipment, obtaining materials, obtaining supplies, and other resources that are necessary to complete a project work. Acquire, obtaining, the process of obtaining resources. And what is the benefit of this process? The key benefit of this process is that it outlines and guides the selection of resources and assigns them to their respective activities. It's not just buying, no, the activities are obtained, but they are obtained based on the requirements of the project task. So they are obtained and assigned to respective activities. And the process is just like the estimate activity process is periodically carried out throughout the project as needed. And candidates, the resources needed for the project can be internal, as I said earlier, or external to the project performing organization. Internal resources are acquired or assigned from functional or resource managers. If it is a production manager within the company, that production manager can double up as the production manager in the project. External resources are acquired through the procurement process. And the project management team may or may not have direct control over resource selection because of collective bargaining agreements. All right? So there can also be use of subcontractor personnel or a matrix project environment, including an internal or external reporting relationships, or even other reasons. So the project management team, I'm saying, may not have direct control over resource selection. They may not have control over which resources they are going to select, because here we are discussing acquiring. And the reason being, number 1, that there could be some collective bargaining agreements between the company and the providers of these resources. which the project management team may not be part or party to. There could also be use of subcontractor personnel, which the project management team may not have a say over. There could be, number 3, what we call a matrix project environment, or even an internal or external reporting relationships, or other reasons. There are many other reasons that can cause the project management team not to have control over the selection of resources. But it's important that certain factors be considered during the process of acquiring project resources. Factors. There could be factors that ought to be considered. Factors that should be considered. Candidates, the next project resource management process is developing the team, developing the project team. Now, developing the project team is the process of improving competencies. It's a process of improving team member interaction and the overall team environment to enhance project performance. And what's the key benefit of this process? The key benefit of this process is that it results in improved teamwork, enhanced interpersonal skills and competencies. It leads to motivated employees. There is a reduced attrition, improved overall project performance, and so on. This process is performed throughout the project. Development of the team is an ongoing process. And the project managers require the skills to identify, they require the skills to build, to maintain, to motivate, to lead, and inspire project teams to achieve high team performance and meet the project's objectives. So candidates, teamwork is a critical factor for project success, and developing effective project teams is one of the primary responsibilities of the project manager. They should create an environment that facilitates teamwork and continuously motivates the team by providing challenges, providing opportunities, providing timely feedback, and also support as needed, and recognizing and rewarding good performance. That's the work of the project team manager, to develop the team. Okay? Develop the team. And high team performance, candidates, can be achieved through different behaviors. Okay? Like 1, using open and effective communication. That can also be achieved through creating team building opportunities. Number 3, developing trust among team members. Number 4, managing conflicts in a constructive manner. Number 5, encouraging collaborative problem solving. And also, number 6, encouraging collaborative decision making. When that is done, candidates, when the team is developed, it improves people skills, it improves technical competencies, and overall team environment and project performance. And that requires clear, timely, effective, and efficient communication between the team members throughout the life of the project. That is developing the team. Then number 5, managing the team. Now, managing the team is the process of tracking team member performance, providing feedback, resolving issues, managing team changes so as to optimize project performance. And what is the key benefit of managing the project team? The key benefit of this process is that it influences team behavior, it manages conflict, and also resolves issues. And the process is performed throughout the project. Managing the team, it should also be noted that requires a variety of management and leadership skills in order to foster teamwork and integrate the efforts of team members to create high performance teams. Candidates' team management involves a combination of skills with special emphasis on communication, conflict management, negotiation, and leadership. And therefore, the project managers should provide challenging assignments to team members and also provide recognition for high performance. And these project managers also need to be sensitive to both the willingness and the ability of the team members to perform their work and adjust their management and leadership styles accordingly. It's important for the project managers to be sensitive when to use autocratic style of leadership, laissez-faire style of leadership, democratic style of leadership, participative style of leadership, as the case may be. And the team members with low skill abilities, you should say, will or may require more intensive oversight than those who have demonstrated ability and experience. So managing a project team requires certain skills from the project managers. Then lastly, control of resources. Controlling resources. This is the process of ensuring that the physical resources assigned and allocated to the project are available as planned, as well as monitoring the planned versus the actual use of resources and performing corrective action as necessary. To control candidates means that the project managers measure the actual performance vis-a-vis the planned performance and identifying variances. Then, based on the variances, the project manager should ensure that there is corrective action as necessary. So what is the key benefit of this process of controlling resources? The key benefit of this process is ensuring that the assigned resources are available to the project at the right time and at the right place and are released when no longer needed. So if there are any resources on the project that are not needed, the resources should be reverted back to the company so that resources do not lie idle, so that waste is minimized. And the process of controlling resources is done throughout, is performed throughout the project, throughout the life of the project. And candidates, the control of resources as a process should be performed continuously in all project phases and throughout the project life cycle. And I've said that resources that are needed for the project should be assigned and also released at the right time, released to the right place and the right amount for the project to continue without any delays. So the control of resources is concerned with physical resources such as equipment, material, facilities, infrastructure, and so on. Controlling of resources is a very critical process in the project resource management process. So these are the processes in the project management process. These are the stages, which are just also processes. Project managed resource is a process which has these other is a process which has all these other processes. One is a plan resource management. 2, estimate activity resource. 3, acquiring resources is a process. Developing the project team is a process. Managing the team is a process. And controlling resources, which I've said include equipment, materials, facilities, infrastructure, and so on. And that effectively brings our today's lesson to a close, where we have studied project resources. And that will pave way for our today's assignment. This is your assignment, question 1. Citing benefits. Explain project resource management process. That's what we have learned today. We've learned the different processes in project resource management. So citing benefits for each process, explain project resource management process. Question 2, explain the role of a project manager in resource management process. Question 3, discuss the different aspects that influence the project team which a project manager should be aware of. These are 3 questions. When answering these questions, please ensure that you don't read or copy from the notes. Make sure you go through the video one more time, write the notes, then close your book. See if you can comfortably answer the questions from your memory. Thank you. God bless you. See you in our next session, where we are going to study project costing. Bye-bye.